All right, bro. Let's go ahead and get into it. The draft is 2 days away, and the Titans they got one of the most important draft picks in the draft because this could be really the turning point if they can actually go somewhere in the playoffs or go to the playoffs, or they just be like, like they probably have to take steps towards actually trying to get to the playoffs, maybe in the future, not probably in the next year. And Brian Callahan and Rand Carter, they had an interview today in the draft, and they really look like they sound like more lenient towards drafting offensive line because they feel like the offensive line could get really developed by Bill Callahan, Brian Callahan's dad, one of the greatest offensive line coaches of all time. They feel like they could get developed by him, and they see where it goes. So they probably push that towards like the second or maybe even the third round. So this brings up an interesting question: are they going to take a wide receiver now? And to be honest with you, I read a report. I think I didn't read it. I just read the headlines. I saw some tidbits on it. And they talk about how Malik Neighbors could go wide receiver one in the draft. And I find that quite interesting because if that is the case, that means Marvin Harrison is a very, very likely chance of being able to the Titans could be able to get him instead. And I would be so happy if that's the case because, like I said, probably not on YouTube, but on previous like tweets and stuff, I said Malik Neighbors' skill set will be will be more valuable in terms of like how teams use them compared to like Roma Doomsday or something like that. Malik Neighbors feeling just fine because he has a good release package. His best skill set is run out the catch. Well, that's what multiple NFL teams do anyway. So why not try to get somebody that actually fits the mold of what you're looking for, right? But I find it interesting if Marvin Harrison Jr. is at 7 because that's a slam dunk in my opinion. But if a team, I tell you what, if a team is willing to give the farm up for Marvin Harrison Jr., you take that farm and you see what you can do with it in the future because this Marvin Harrison is definitely a blue chip prospect. I want to view Malik Neighbors as that because I don't think he's on Marvin Harrison Jr. level, but that's a blue chip prospect for sure. And now, as of late, the Chargers has been linked to Joe Alt, and it's really no surprise because Jim Harbaugh he wants to run the football. It's the reason why he brought in the former offensive coordinator for the Ravens and Greg Roman. I almost forgot his name. Greg Roman to be that supplement to Justin Herbert passing game. To try to give him something to feedback off, so he's just not passing the whole game, and the defense just sitting on everything, right? So yeah, I just want to discuss this because I saw something on Twitter, right, and discuss like why he would pick Roman Doomsday at 7, and I want to like hear him out because to be honest with you, I said this multiple times. If Malik Neighbors or not Roman Doomsday, Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. is available at 7, you take those guys over Joe Alt. But if, like, for example, like Rome is there, you take Joe Alt. But this person said they'd take Roman Doomsday if Joe Alt is still there in that case. But let's go ahead and read. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it because look at this tweet. Look at this tweet. Like I'm gonna be here for a minute. I'm gonna give my thoughts on each paragraph as I go along. So the tweet starts up by saying the Callahan Carthon comments this morning about OT versus wide receiver depth in the draft got me thinking. Well, if the Titans do target wide receiver pick 7, here's why I believe Roma Doomsday would be a better fit for the Titans long term receiver plan than Malik Neighbors. And we about to go ahead and get into it, dog. Calvin Ridley is a prototypical Z receiver who will play off the line and go in motion frequently. Brian Callahan recently said Ridley could play a similar role to Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. Now, that would be awesome because I feel like Calvin Ridley in his play career, he always was like a Z receiver type because in Atlanta he was playing off of Julio Jones for a little while until Julio Jones basically was sustained multiple injuries and stuff like that. And then after that, I'm trying to see who he was playing. I think he was the main one until he got suspended, right? I believe so. And then when he was with the Jaguars, I think they tried to use him as like an X because Calvin really his press conference with the Titans, he expressed that he really wasn't used to his fullest potential since the Jaguars didn't really use him in motion like that. It was like a rumor going around that he really didn't know the routes, and he didn't really know the plays and stuff like that, which could also be problematic. But yeah, that was a good fit. So that's why probably Calvin really came here, and also the money talk, right? But that's probably most of the reason why Calvin really came here because he actually want to be used in motion and just be used as a Z receiver. So, not your ideal X receiver, but awesome flanker. Hopkins has lined up in the slot 21.5% of snaps the past 2 seasons. In his final year of his deal, he can still line up as the X, tethered to the line of scrimmage at times. But at this stage of his career, he's more effective moving around all around the formation. Plus, he's in the final year of his contract. So, I agree. If anything, I thought the Titans were going to use DeAndre Hopkins as the slot a lot more than they did, to be honest with you, because him trying to be press coverage as the X receiver, yeah, it's just not happening no more because there's multiple times where he just get jammed up the line of screen, he just can't move. And sometimes when he do like get separation, the defensive back is always gonna be in phase. And it was also multiple times he could got caught for offensive pass interference. But since he's DeAndre Hopkins, he gets away with that. And I'm glad he's on our side with that because when he's with the Texans, that was so annoying, dog. But it's weird. Odunze is a prototypical X receiver. Line him up wide, and he has the physicality and quickness to win against press coverage with the speed to get down the sideline. I think T. Higgins' role in Cincinnati. That's pretty interesting to think about because before the offseason started, I wanted T. Higgins to join Brian Callahan in Cincinnati. And as we get more and more into the article, sorry about the yawning. But as we get more and more into the article, well, this is really not an article, but this like you can say it's an article. But he finna explain why the T. Higgins and Rome Odunze comparison probably a little accurate. All right, the Titans have a multitude of players that can rotate throughout the slot position. Treylon Burks may find more success there. Obviously, Kyle Phillips is ideal for that role. And again, Hopkins will play a good back there too. So for 2024, the Hopkins really a Odunze trio will work well together in 3 receiver sets, which which each guy a clearly defined role and skill set. Odunze as an X, really as a Z, and Hopkins in the slot. There will be plenty of snaps with just Hopkins and really sharing the field, and with Hopkins back to the X and really stay at the Z with. Or without a third receiver on the field as Odunze get up to speed as a rookie. Finally, Odunze really could work well together if and when Hopkins needs a breather. Now, when Odunze is the X and really is the Z again, I thought it was more to that. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. But I think folks is looking for that T. Higgins type because in my opinion, if you do draft like a Malik Neighbors or something like that, you basically have like another type slot receiver, and that's really not ideal for DeAndre Hopkins in this stage of his career, like you said. And to be honest with you, as I'm thinking about it, I think my mind has changed because I've been very convinced. I've been convinced. So when Hopkins' contract is up, so for like 2025 and beyond, the Titans will need a dominant X receiver. on the outside to pull coverage and allow Ridley to work what he excels off the line and off scrimmage. That would be Odunze. The Titans can use their rotation of slot guys and 3 receiver sets and keep really Odunze in the roles where they're best suited in. Okay. Okay, dang, I don't know why I'm yawning so much, dog. What the heck? But I think Malik Neighbors will function at best as a Z receiver in the NFL, which would be a little redundant with really skill set. Obviously, you can make it work, but in that scenario, you're asking one of really or Neighbors to primarily line up as an X receiver, and if that's the case, I think you have best success at just asking Dunze to play a role and keep it really as a flanker, then turn either really or Neighbors into a primary X. Okay, I can see. I can see where he come from. The alternative is you make Neighbors predominantly a slot guy while keeping really as the Z, but then who lines up as the X? Traylon Burks, a 2025 rookie. Okay, so that's why I think Rome Odunze is the best fit for both 2024 with Hopkins and 2025 plus without him. Ooh, okay. So after reading that, I definitely can see where he's coming from. Now, you definitely don't want overlapping skill sets at the receiver position because then really everything can get jumbled up. And then that would just lead to like receivers being unhappy and stuff like that. And you know how that goes. So, as I'm reading this, I'm probably convinced that if Rome Odunze is there, I'd probably say go with Rome Odunze, maybe over Joe Alt. I'm still like on the fence about that, but I'll probably, at this moment right in time, I'm probably like 60-40 Joe Alt, Rome Odunze. So, yeah, if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe. This is your boy Trail M out.